Welcome to our lesson on homeostasis and the nervous system. The key questions for today are 1. What is homeostasis? 2. Why is homeostasis important? 3. How does the body detect changes in the environment? 4. How does the body respond to changes in the environment? 5. What is a reflex action? The key words you'll need to know are stimulus, response, receptor, effector, hormone. Homeostasis is the regulation of the internal environment of an organism, regardless of what happens in the organism's environment. This is important so that the organism can function at its optimum. When we think about our human bodies, they work best and function well at optimum conditions. Task: what are the optimum working conditions for the human body? Extension: what changes can occur in our environment that our body has to respond to? The optimum conditions for the human body to function at its best are a temperature of around 37 degrees C for optimum enzyme activity, optimum blood glucose levels for respiration to occur consistently, optimum water levels to keep all bodily functions regulated and maintain the integrity of our cells. When the conditions around us change, our body must respond to counteract any changes and keep conditions constant in the body. The conditions that can change are the temperature, the amount of glucose available to eat, the amount of water available to drink, and other stimuli such as pain, pressure, light, sound, smells, and tastes. The main responses for the body that we will learn about are to temperature, blood glucose levels, and water levels. When a drop in temperature is detected, the body has mechanisms which warm it back up. Equally, if a temperature rise is detected, the body will employ mechanisms to cool down. When we talk about our body temperature, we refer to our core temperature. This is the temperature of our blood and internal organs. This is monitored and controlled by the thermoregulatory centre in the brain. Our core temperature should remain constant. Our surface temperature varies more than our core temperature and is the temperature of our skin and extremities. When our blood glucose level falls too low or rises too high, the body has a mechanism to restore the blood glucose level to the optimum level. This involves hormones called insulin and glucagon. When the water level of our body is too high, our body produces more urine to rid our bodies of the excess water. When the water level is too low, our body conserves water and produces less urine. This is controlled by a hormone called ADH. Task: why is homeostasis important? The maintenance of constant internal conditions, or homeostasis, is important as it allows our body to function at its optimum despite the external conditions changing. The conditions in the body are regulated by hormones and the nervous system. The optimal conditions for the body are controlled automatically. Changes in the environment, called stimuli, are detected by receptor cells. The receptor cells send a message through the nervous system to the coordination centre, which then sends a message to an effector, which brings about a response. A stimulus can be both inside or outside of the body, and receptor cells are in all of our sense organs, as well as in other parts of our body. The signal sent by the receptor cells is an electrical impulse that travels through neurons, which are made up of nerve cells. The electrical impulse is sent to the coordination center. This could be the brain, spinal cord, or pancreas. The control center then sends an electrical impulse to an effector, which is a muscle or gland. Muscles carry out movements, and glands secrete hormones into the bloodstream. This is the response. The nervous system is made up of a network of neurons or nerves. These are made from specialized cells called nerve cells. Nerve cells are able to carry electrical signals. Task: how are nerve cells adapted for their function? Nerve cells are long and thin and have dendrites at the ends to connect to other nerve cells. The human nervous system is divided into two parts: the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system is all of the other nerves throughout the rest of the body. Information from receptor cells passes along neurons and sensory neurons as electrical impulses to coordinators such as the central nervous system. The message is then sent from the coordinator through neurons called motor neurons to the effector. Muscles contracting or glands secreting hormones are the response of effectors coordinated by the CNS. Task: summarize the sequence from stimulus to response of a message passing through the nervous system. Stimulus, receptor, motor neuron, coordinator, motor neuron, effector, response. Between the different neurons is a small gap called a synapse. The electrical impulse is turned into a chemical at the synapse and diffuses across the gap. Once the chemical is detected by the next neuron, it is converted back into an electrical impulse. These chemicals are called neurotransmitters. The amount of neurotransmitter that is produced and detected can be affected by certain drugs. Stimulants increase the strength of the signal, whereas depressants suppress the signal, making it weaker. The different neurons have different structures. The cell body which contains the nucleus is in a different position. The picture shows a motor neuron with the cell body located at the end of the neuron. A motor neuron carries the electrical impulse from the coordinator to the effector. A sensory neuron has the cell body in the middle of the axon. A sensory neuron carries the message from the receptor cells to the coordinator. A relay neuron has no axon. A relay neuron is involved in certain responses called reflex actions. Extension: can you match the neuron type to the images? Neuron A is a sensory neuron, B is a motor neuron, and C is a relay neuron. Reflex actions are actions that take place in the body that are unconscious. This means that they are automatic, rapid, and do not involve the conscious part of the brain. Some do not involve the brain at all. The coordinator for most reflex actions is the spinal cord, where the message coming from a receptor through a sensory neuron is passed to a relay neuron in the spinal cord, then straight to a motor neuron to an effector to elicit a response. These actions are much quicker than conscious actions, as the electrical impulse does not have to travel up the spinal cord to the brain. Task: what do you think the purpose of reflex actions is? Reflex actions are quicker than normal reactions and help to prevent harm. They allow us to move away from danger quickly and automatically. Examples of reflex actions include blinking if an insect flies near to your eye, the pupil of your eye contracting in bright light, coughing or sneezing if something irritates one of the air passages, and the knee-jerk reaction when your lower leg is hit with a small force.